Starting our journey tonight is part of my forwarding service. He wanted to make sure he had a nice minty factory fresh sealed example, and I was able to secure that for him. We've already reviewed and demoed it, but hey, just because I've already done that doesn't mean I can't help you with the forwarding service or additional new guitar days if you just want to support the show. Or if enough time has passed, sometimes I'll re-review it. But what is the model that Thomas really needed over in Germany? It is the SG Blue Sky. I don't blame him. I think this is just such a fantastic example. Once again, we got the hazy pickup covers. We'll talk about it on pretty much every brand new Gibson. But it's such a cool color. And I'd say we hit the wood grain lottery pretty decently. Like, it's not a figured body by any means. But just check out that nice straight mahogany wood grain. You got a little bit of swirliness right there. There's a few wood grain knots in it. I spotted about 3 of them. It gives this thing extra character. As far as tooling marks go, I only see a few right there. But overall, I would say this is a nice example.
Well, you know what? It's a lot easier to see the wood grain over here on the workbench, so pardon the mic change here. I just thought you guys might enjoy seeing that, as well as some of our befores and afters. Those things just get so hazed over. And some guys were asking last episode, what do I use? Just the Virtuoso Premium Polish. That's what you can use on hardware. Even gold, it's safe. In my experience anyway. Use at your own risk. I also went ahead and conditioned the fretboard for him. That's looking much better. However, this is the other reason I wanted to clean the pickup covers. Because look, this is an example where you can't actually clean all the hazing off. It is permanent. I'm going to go ahead and try the Scratch X because that's usually okay on chrome and nickel. You just don't want to go too far, and definitely don't use that on gold. Well, now they're super duper ultra shiny. However, get the light on them. Nope. That's one of those permanently ones. So at this point, I sent him a message, sent him some photos, let him know. He decided, since the likelihood of the next one having that exact same issue was pretty high, he decided to take it. But he said when he unboxed it over in Germany, they looked great. So maybe it just took time for my process to settle in. He was happy with it, and it arrived safely. But anyways, here you can really clearly see that knot in the wood right there. You got that other one right here, and then our other one in the cutaway. And I suppose I am seeing another one right here where the finish kind of dips down. So just for fun, this one weighs 6 pounds, 9.1 ounces. It's pretty balanced on a strap. A little neck divey, but not by too much.
But he was telling me he's had like 4 or 5 of these modern day SGs, and he just fell in love with this hue. And yes, that's why I offer the forwarding service, but please, no, it gets very expensive. International shipping, my fee, import duties and customs, taxes, that's the big kicker. Which quickly becomes about double retail, but he needed to have it. This next one actually came from eBay, and needless to say, this box isn't looking so hot. Well, that's okay. The item in here is pretty durable. And I actually bought this direct from TKL. I had stumbled upon just when they had listed a whole bunch of B stock cases, and some of them are like 20 plus years old. They must be clearing out their warehouse. But what caught my attention most was the one-off cases that they had created, either as a production sample that never happened. Some of them were also described as like a NAMM show display piece, showing what they could potentially create. I don't know about you guys, but I could not say no to a golden flying V that's branded Gibson USA that then has a luscious black. It really reminds me of a tweed style case, but it's very different from that. No idea what I'm going to put in this or if I'll actually end up keeping it. I just thought, hey, why not? You can always use a spare Flying V case because there's so many great Flying Vs like the Faded series that didn't initially ship in a hard case. They would have the gig bags. I only saw one other Golden Boy listed, but it was one of the SG base cases, and it's like, when am I ever going to need that? Probably never, but the Flying V, yes, I can definitely use. But according to TKL themselves, this was a product prototype, one of a kind that never went into production. I'd be curious to know, what model was that for? All the stylings of this says mid-2000s, maybe early 2010s at latest. If we look inside here, we can see it's one of the nice Canadian-made TKLs too. But our next one I was really pumped to see, because it's not just a normal case, it was a special limited edition one that did come into production. Check this out, Gibson USA Explorer case, nice exterior, but what is that? Guitar of the month. there were only 1,000 of those slated to exist. Here's what the Guitar of the Month Explorer looked like. It was a brimstone burst. But there was one thing that had me slightly worried. I knew those things have a slightly more contoured top, but I didn't know if they changed the overall dimensions. But I can confirm it fits almost every single Gibson Explorer that I tried in here. So here it is with my custom shop mahogany Yahoo Explorer. So that's mid-2000s shape. It's going to be fine. I tested it with a 1984 Union Jack. So that's the thrash metal style alder body Explorers. You're good there. I tested it with a 1980s E2 CMT. So the added maple top and the binding didn't affect anything. That was a nice tight fit. I even tried it on a faded Explorer. Here's the Holy Explorer. But besides the holes, it's pretty similar to those other production level ones that I don't believe originally came with cases. And then if you're like, well, hey, Trogly, is it going to fit my tiny Explorer Pro series guitars? No, but yes at the same time. If you put a little padding underneath it, the whole shape does fit into the case and it closes snugly. So no, but yes, it will technically work. And then here it is with a 1976 Mahogany Explorer limited edition, so you're good. But the other reason I decided to buy these is it's not a regular case. If you're looking at those photos, the interior looked a bit different. Also, look at your handle. This is stylized just like the Les Paul Supreme cases. They get that premium bolted on with the soft leather handle. And then the interior is that crushed velvet. That's what all these waves are. These things are much nicer than your standard Gibson Explorer case, so that's why I was so elated to see this. But I've seen enough of these to know that their interior's yellow over time. So even though it looks like a cat came in here and peed, what they were describing in their listing is they were using hide glue construction at this time. It didn't actually look yellow when they were constructing it. It's just over time it aged. And then you can see where some spare glue got caught. But these things just have a giant case compartment. The silica packet's nearly 20 years old, still in there. And it still has the case shroud, which I just found absolutely awesome. Because where else are you going to find this? I mean, even if you don't need the Guitar of the Month case for your Guitar of the Month Explorer, this is just a posh case to put any Explorer into. And going back to our case shroud here, that's what I was using to form the fit on the smaller bodied Explorers. This still smells brand new. It's got that old vanilla scent to it. It just needs to off-gas a little bit. And then I could come in here with some scissors or trimmers and clean that up. They actually said if you used a hot, damp cloth, this is a water-soluble glue, so you might be able to get that off there. I did try that on one, and I wasn't really successful, but maybe it wasn't hot enough. But we do have some goodbyes to say today in our unboxing episode. I said goodbye to the SG 7-string Angel of Death. That was a 2016 limited edition. I think I owned the thing for 5 years. It's a very limited market, and I was never super serious about selling it because I really have seen few of them even surface to the market. But somebody wanted to make an offer, so I decided, okay, let's let that one go. The one thing that bugged me about that one was the 2 seam line / finish checkings on the body, so might as well let that go to a player, and maybe I'll replace it another day. Here's a big one to say goodbye to. The Lenny Kravitz Flying V. I love the guitar. Lenny's a great musician, and that one was insanely clean, but I could never look at that one in my collection and not be upset because it was signed by Lenny. But after I purchased it, the shop said they had one of their new employees clean it up for me, and he erased the signature. It's like, yeah, I probably could get it re-signed by him one day, but it was just the fact that that one was messed around a little bit there, because otherwise that would have been a 100% keeper. Maybe the next one I buy could have a lower serial number or something. That one was just too clean to even touch or show anybody. But those do have that cool sparkly black finish. You can check out the full review and demo here. Also on that note, some of the gold hardware was incorrectly cleaned, so you lost a bit of it. And another big flying V went away, the Hendrix Artist Proof. When it comes to talking about the signature flying Vs, that really wasn't a thing until the early 2000s. And the Hendrix and the Kravitz were like some of the first ones made, so it's kind of funny that they sold at the same time to different buyers. But having an artist proof was kind of cool on that, because that means that guitar was supplied to the Hendrix estate as part of the payment of using the Hendrix name on that run of guitars. And then I'm sure they kept a couple and then sold off the others for cash. Then it ended up at a dealer, and another dealer bought it from there, and then I bought it from him, and then I held on to it for like, 4 or so years. But that one has now found a new home. The AP thing was cool, but I missed not having the correct case on that one. So maybe I will replace that another day for the museum with just a regular production one, because I'm really curious, was that dark red back on that one actually exclusive to the AP models, or are they all like that and the photos just don't quite show it? So we'll probably review another one of those someday. But most importantly, that gets me some more money that I can operate my business with. So sometimes you have to go through short-term pains like that for long-term gains. But otherwise, I think that's all we have for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.